If you're thinking about making a move to North Atlanta, you found the right channel, but specifically today we're talking about Buckhead. In today's video, you can see it's raining just a little bit, so I won't be walking around too much, but we're going to show you a little bit of the historical areas here in Buckhead, but also, some of the newer real estate, as well as just a drive down West Paces Ferry here, which is one of the better known, streets or most popular streets here in Buckhead, right in the heart of Buckhead. So anyway, and then we're going to go back to the office, hop into the computer, kind of show you some of the major landmarks, but also show you geographically where we are talking about here. When it comes to Buckhead in North Atlanta. So here we go. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you tap that subscribe button as well as the little bell for notifications to ensure that you see every new video that comes out. Again, we cover all of North Atlanta, so whether you're looking in Doraville, Norcross, all the way east over to like Smyrna Vinings area, we'd love to help you out. Our team here in Atlanta is constantly helping people relocate here to Atlanta, and people even moving all around the Atlanta area already. So we'd love to help you out. All you got to do is shoot us a call, a text, an email, or even the little Zoom link up in the channel art here also has a chance for you to sign up with our Zoom link. We can hop on Zoom, and if there's a particular house or a property that you'd like to see, or a particular area that you'd like for us to do a video on, we always love doing that as well. So would love to be in touch with you. So as I mentioned before, this is West Paces Ferry, which is a really, really nice street here in the Buckhead area. Some of the most prominent folks and families used to live on this street back when Atlanta was a very, very young city. And so, the governor's mansion is up here on the left. You have a really, really well-known private school here on the right called Paces Academy. And then, just the homes here are, most of them on anywhere from a half acre to multiple acre lots. And there is some newer construction that's been done in this area. A lot of the older historical homes have been torn down, but you still do have quite a few older original homes in this area, built in the 50s, 60s, 70s, even a couple from before then. So obviously this used to just all be, farmland and vacant. We're about 10 to 15 minutes from downtown Atlanta, depending on which side you're going to. We're about 25 minutes from the airport, depending on which way you go. But one of the reasons that a lot of people move to the Buckhead area is because of its location. So it's just far enough outside the city, and certainly it's very wooded and very established, very mature landscaping everywhere here. You feel like you're, in the woods as opposed to just outside a major metropolitan city. So, 25 minutes again to the airport, 10, 15 minutes to downtown, again, depending on which side you're looking at. But a lot of people choose this location because it's nestled just between Midtown, Sandy Springs to the north. And so, yeah, the location is absolutely amazing. Great if you have to commute downtown. This is the governor's mansion, and I apologize again for the rain. Obviously, not the most ideal day to be out filming, but I was down here showing a property, so I thought it might be worthwhile to show you guys a little around, Buckhead itself and kind of what to expect. So that's the governor's mansion there, again, just here on West Paces Ferry. Another, half a mile or so down, we'll actually get into the heart of Buckhead, which is, West Paces and Peachtree, where you get into East Paces, or a lot of the streets names East Paces, West Paces. You have obviously Peachtree Street that runs north and south. But as I mentioned, you see that sign there. A lot of historical value down in this area because of the people and the families that used to live in this general area. So as we get into the heart here of Buckhead, you'll see the Atlanta History Center here on your right. A lot of condo and townhome developments in the heart here, certainly making it very walkable. You know, if you want to be down in this area, or walkable to this area. A lot of people do work in Buckhead as well. You know, about a mile from here near Lenox, there's a lot more commercial property, some skyscrapers and office space there. So to commute from the heart of Buckhead up to Lenox is 5 or 10 minutes with some traffic, just up Peachtree. But that's one thing that a lot of people confuse about Peachtree Street. I believe there's 17 different Peachtree road, street, way, circles here in the Atlanta area, but you'll see up here soon, we're coming up on Peachtree Street that cuts right through the middle. So you have East Andrews to your left, Slayton to your right, and again, we're still on West Paces Ferry. But as we come up into the heart of Buckhead here, you'll see that we have the St. Regis here on the right, the large tower that we just passed there. A ton of great restaurants and shopping down in this area. The Shops at Buckhead is a newer development up here where you have a lot of the high-end, boutique style, think Rodeo Drive, in California, Beverly Hills, that would kind of be the equivalent. But great restaurants here as well. King and Duke on the right here. As well, a couple landmarks that are no longer landmarks in terms of historical, Atlanta, if you will. And this is actually just headed north on Peachtree here, so now we're actually headed towards the Lenox area. And again, a lot more commercialized, a lot more residential condos built up in this way, up this way, I should say. But as we get a little further north here, Buckhead soon becomes Brookhaven. So we'll kind of show you up to the edge here, near Lenox Mall, and a little bit beyond is basically where the line is between Buckhead and Brookhaven. So if you're looking at a map and you have just come through the city, you'll see Buckhead just north of Midtown, stretching to the east as far as Brookhaven goes, and then stretching as far west as the Vinings, almost to the Smyrna area. So just as we come up on Piedmont here, again, a lot more commercial in this area, certainly more residential towers in this area as well, with your condo living. So if you're looking to be in a condo, this would probably be the area of Buckhead that you would want to be in, where you have a lot more opportunity for residential towers. Not as many townhomes in this area. You kind of have to go a half mile out or so. Obviously every product is available here. In addition to having great access downtown or to the airport, you also have great access to the other northern suburbs. So if you live in Buckhead, or if you plan to live in Buckhead and you commute north, say up Georgia 400, 75 or 85, up to the Suwanee area, the Duluth area, or Sandy Springs, Roswell or Alpharetta, it's a very short drive right up 400. All right, so we're almost up to Lenox Road here, but this is Lenox Square, or Lenox Mall here on the right. Tons of great shopping there. To the front of us here, or in front of us, you'll see Career Builder, as well as the University of Georgia. They have their Terry College of Business here, actually conveniently located in Buckhead as well. But again, once you go another mile or so down here, it turns into Brookhaven. But just before you get to Brookhaven, you will see some townhome developments, as well as more single-family home, developments in older neighborhoods where homes were built in the teens and the 20s and the 30s even. A little bit smaller lots than what you might see over near West Paces Ferry, but certainly you do pay a premium for the land in this area. So over off West Paces Ferry, you have properties starting at $1.5 million, $2 million, $3 million, whereas over here in this more central location of Buckhead, you'll see stuff more around the $1 million mark. Certainly it's becoming more challenging to find stuff under $1 million, but it is possible to be in this location for under $1 million. You generally just have to sacrifice space, whether that's for the house or the actual property itself. All right, So here's Lenox Road. We're gonna make a left here. Phipps Plaza will be here just on your right again, another shopping outlet with a theater built in as well. And we're actually headed back west now. So we'll be coming up on Georgia 400 here, which I mentioned earlier. You know, for getting further north is the ideal way. But the other reason that this is such a great location is you can be, you know, pretty much anywhere north of Atlanta within about 20 minutes. So Sandy Springs, Dunwoody, Doraville, Norcross, Smyrna, Vinings area within about 15 to 20, maybe 25 minutes with some traffic. So if you're looking to get out of the city or out of Buckhead, you know, there's tons of parks and stuff north of here. There's also a really cool little amenity that's just recently been added called the Path 400 that is basically a multi-use path for, you know, bicycling as well as walkers and runners north to south that eventually will connect into Sandy Springs and eventually the Beltline down in Atlanta. Obviously still a ton of construction though, as you can see by that crane up there. You know, you have a lot of construction still happening in this area, both residential and commercial. But you know, if you're just moving to Atlanta and you're considering, you know, Buckhead as a potential place to land, a lot of the big companies that have landed in downtown or midtown Atlanta, like Google and Amazon and Porsche on the south side, Mercedes-Benz on the north side, Buckhead is really a great kind of middle ground. You get a little taste of the city or being close enough to the city. I mean, 10 minutes to Piedmont Park, the largest park in Atlanta. And then again, you can get, you know, to the mountains within an hour. So it's not really a bad place to consider if you want a really short commute into town, but you also want to be, you know, out of the city in a very short amount of time. Okay, welcome back to the office here. So as I said before, we're going to hop around here on the map and I'm going to show you kind of the general area when we talk about Buckhead here. So again, you see it kind of highlighted with the little red outline here, but this little circle is basically all of Buckhead. So when we talk about to the north and to the east and the west on the north side of Buckhead, again, Brookhaven over here, Sandy Springs to the north here, Dunwoody kind of like in this little sliver here. And then Vinings over to the west, all the way around the west side of Atlanta, down to Atlantic Station, and you see Midtown here, right about here. So again, as you're coming out of Midtown, you kind of come up, you know, through the middle of Midtown and up past Atlantic Station, where the cut this part out, Chrissy. Where the downtown connector meets. So the connector is where 75 and 85 meet in the middle of downtown Atlanta, and then you see they kind of split off here and go northwest for 75 and northeast for 85. So this is kind of like the southern end here. And then again, as we move around on the east side, again, Brookhaven over here, there's a lot of different little neighborhoods tucked into this area here that we're also going to cover eventually in some of the other videos. Okay, so as we zoom in, you see again, kind of getting closer into the Buckhead area, you got the Chastain Park here right near the edge of Sandy Springs to the north. Peachtree Hills, all these other little neighborhoods start popping up as you zoom in. So Castlewood, Garden Hills, a lot of these communities are the other smaller communities or even neighborhoods within the Buckhead area. So, you know, from north to south, starting out down here near Midtown, all the way up, say Georgia 400 here to Chastain Park, 15 to 20 minutes on average with traffic again, and then east to west, kind of the same thing. The major challenge with this location, if there is one, is just getting east to west. So, you know, if you've got to be over here in Vinings, you know, coming from the other side of Buckhead can be, you know, 30 minutes with some traffic just because there's no good way to get there. So north and south, very, very easy, whether it's through 75, 85 or 400 up here. This road 19 that runs through the middle is Peachtree Street downtown. And this is the main Peachtree that runs all the way through downtown Atlanta. So it continues up. You can see it goes all the way up through Sandy Springs and Roswell and even up into Alpharetta. So that's another major, you know, 2-lane highway in either direction. So 4-lane total, typically with a little turning lane in the middle and then some turnoffs into some of the retail and shopping and stuff that's kind of there. But the real challenge and the only real way you can get east to west here through is east Wesley here. So if we back out, you'll see it's just a straight arrow straight across the middle of Buckhead here. And you can get, over from this Midtown area up to East Paces within about 5 to 10 minutes, even with some traffic. But that's the only real east-west connector here, directly across. Everything north and south, though, for the most part, is going to help you get around Buckhead very, very quickly. If you're going north, you're most likely going to hit 400 and run north to Sandy Springs, Roswell, Alpharetta, the mountains and beyond. And then 400 actually ends over here where it meets 85. So getting around the Buckhead area is not a problem at all, but east to west is the biggest challenge if there was one. The great thing about this location, though, is that you're right in the middle of everything. So, if you wanted to be over here near the West Side Park, 10 minutes, no more, even with some traffic. Again, we mentioned the Botanical Gardens and Piedmont Park in here, 10 minutes at most, no matter where you're coming from in Buckhead. So great location. Again, if you're looking to live in this area and work downtown, you can see it's not but a couple miles down the road. But again, with traffic here in Atlanta, the biggest con probably of living here is the traffic and is, the amount of time that it takes to get you from one place to another. So when it comes to the Buckhead area here, currently you see about 116 homes listed here. And if we, go over here to the price points, you'll see starting at nearly $10 million and going all the way down to 475. And again, most of those are going to be condos, townhomes, significantly smaller, areas or homes and lots. But again, a nice mix of a lot of different properties. And again, depending on where you want to be within Buckhead, that can certainly kind of set the standard for where you're going to be. Just to take a quick peek, we can't help ourselves here to see what a $10 million property looks like in Atlanta here real quick. So this is probably one of those older, more historic homes. Beautiful. They've done a really, really nice job with these pictures. And you see, it's a good sized property too. Really, really nice, beautifully laid out. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I will say that's probably about as big as you're going to get in terms of house, but also in terms of price. The values here certainly have gone up considerably, but you see this house here is 11,000 square feet. So not too shabby. If we go back though, you'll see a couple here in the 9s, 8, 7, 5 for 3 million pretty quickly, with the bulk of these being, $1 million or less. And, maybe 3 million or less actually is probably a better place to start with, 80% of these properties. So 100 or so, 90, 100 of these properties being 3 million or less. So especially if you're coming from California, Chicago, New York, New Jersey, the bang for your buck in this location in particular is going to be fantastic. But we'll hop back over here to the map real quick. And again, just kind of show you a couple of the other things we passed earlier in the video. The Swan House here at the Atlanta History Center. There's a great little coffee shop in there called Brash Coffee. Okay, cafe over here is a landmark as well. But you've got tons of churches, tons of schools, private and public, with the Atlanta public school system in here. But in terms of navigating, we mentioned north to south and east and west. Again, it's nice because you have a couple different main ways that you can get around this area. And again, getting out of this area is actually even easier. So I think one of the cons about living in this area definitely is the traffic. While they've done a really good job of maintaining the integrity of the area and, the homes and lot sizes and everything else, you can just plainly see outside of over here near the Lindbergh area where everything looks like it was a little more planned. I've shown a couple of properties in this east-westerly area over here. The Peachtree Heights neighborhood's really, really nice. But again, you see mostly residential, not a ton of north, south, east, west, connection points for roads. So that makes getting around Buckhead a little bit of a challenge. But again, if you're looking to go downtown, or if you work in Midtown, a great location because you're simply right here. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful though. And as always, if you guys ever have any questions about Buckhead or any of the North Atlanta areas here, we'd love to have you give us a call. All the contact information is down below as always. But also you can set up a Zoom. We can Zoom just like this actually. And we've had a ton of clients, especially from the West Coast, doing that here recently, where we Zoom and we meet about what your goals are and what your looking to accomplish here in Atlanta. And then obviously we can go and visit property virtually with you as well. So through a FaceTime or through Zoom, we can do that. But certainly if you ever have any other comments, you can always leave them below. Our phone number's here, our email's here. And again, our team loves getting these calls from people relocating all over the Southeast and honestly the nation now. So if you guys ever have any questions or comments about the area, or there's an area you'd like for us to cover, you can always reach out. We're happy to do it. And we'll talk to you all soon. Enjoy some of this driving footage through Buckhead.